Everyone sees the success of making $20,000 a month at the age of 21 and think that I was living some amazing life. But what they don't see is how that success nearly broke me mentally. There's a hidden cost to making a good amount of money at a young age that almost no one on the internet talks about, and it almost destroyed me. If you think that making $20,000 a month online is just going to be sunshine and rainbows and that everything's going to be going good, then you need to hear what it actually cost me in this video, because the price might be higher than you think. So I just got off a meeting with a guy and he was talking a little bit more about how he wanted to live an amazing life, make $20,000 a month online, and that he wanted to do it in the next few months with only a couple hours a day of work. Now, obviously for some of you watching that who actually have the ability to think with ration, you'd understand that that's a little bit unrealistic. And I ended up telling this to this guy. I didn't want to completely crush his dreams, but I told him that it's going to take a little bit longer than that and you're going to have to work a lot harder than that. And this is why I felt inspired to actually make this video today. For some reason, people think that once you start making $20,000, $30,000, even $50,000 a month, that your life is just sunshine and rainbows and you can do everything that you ever wanted. I will say just in advance, before we get into the negatives, that yes, you can live an amazing life, and at times it is going to feel really good, but just like everyone in life, sometimes you have highs and sometimes you have lows. What usually can happen, unless you're grounded in hard work and faith, is those highs can get really, really high and those lows can get really, really low as you start making more and more money. People online, for some reason, think that if you're making this kind of money online, that you're living the dream life. And the problem with social media is all social media does, especially on platforms like Instagram and TikTok, is you're just showing a highlight reel. So there's 3 hidden costs that I experienced, and I want to share this with you. And all 3 of these hidden costs had different difficulties and different levels of the cost, and costed actually different resources as well. The first hidden cost that I had to experience was complete social isolation. I usually don't talk about this too much on YouTube, but when I first got into making money online, I was a full-time college student. I was also working part-time as a lifeguard, and I wanted to balance making money online on top of that. It's safe to say with all 3 of those things going, I was very, very busy. You have college classes that take up anywhere from 4 to 6 hours per day, and then you also have the homework and the studying associated with that, which is maybe another hour or 2 a day panned out over time. Then I was also working again 30 hours a week as a lifeguard, and I was trying to balance making money online on top of that. The reason why I wanted to do this is because I didn't like the path that I was headed down, going deeper and deeper into debt, paying for college, and not being in a position where I'm able to make money right then and there. I also started questioning if the education system and the job market was even for me at all, because that's not the life that I wanted to live in the long term. And so with that being said, I wanted a change in life, and with that change came consequences. If I was going to have to balance college, working a part-time job, and making money online all at the same time, I was going to have to sacrifice a lot of things, which I had to. I had to clean up essentially every single bad vice that I had at the time. And most importantly, this is kind of the hidden cost, is I had to cut off a lot of people that I was talking to, and I had to really just grind and not spend too much time going out and socializing and stuff like that. There were a lot of times where I had to skip some sort of birthday or party or social event that someone invited me to, just because I had to get work done. And I think naturally what ended up happening is, as people started to see me getting more and more serious about doing this work, and I started saying no to some of these events, these people just stopped inviting me some of the time in general. And so at the end of the day, when I started making money online and I actually started finding some good progress and some good success, that was a pro to it. I was starting to set myself up for a better life, but at the same time, I would see these people on social media in my close friend group that were having a blast. And as this happened more and more, I started getting more and more disconnected with people that were my age, aside from some of the people that were on the exact same mission that I was. And so from the ages of 18 to about 22, I started becoming really disconnected with people my age, because whenever I would start talking to people my age, unless they were on the same mission again that I was, all these people would talk about are sports, or they talk about getting drunk on the weekends, or that they're going to have some big party or something on the weekend where they're going to go get blacked out, or they're going to go get high, or they're going to go do all these bad habits. And I just completely disassociated with that and had no respect and no, I guess, interest in any of that. And so during this time period, there was probably only about 2 or 3 people that I was actively talking to that were in agreement with my beliefs and were focused on the same mission of at least not doing the degenerate stuff, but then also starting to make money online. The second hidden cost, and I'm also not too open and transparent about this, but I'll just spill the beans for all of you guys, is family relationships started to get stained a little bit. When I first started to make a little bit of money online, I was finishing up my freshman year of college. And again, I was balancing all three of these things with going to college, working as a lifeguard, and making money online. And I had to do something. I couldn't just keep doing all three of these things every single day. And so I had to figure out what I actually wanted my life to look like. And I ultimately made the decision that I was going to be dropping out of college, quitting my job as a lifeguard, and just going all in on making money online, which is high ticket sales for me. At first, though, as most parents are, so I don't even blame them, my parents were extremely skeptical. I had to do a lot of persuading to my parents about, number one, why I was actually going down this route, but then two, I had to actually show up consistently so that they could tell that I was taking it serious. I guess over some months of me waking up at the same time every single day, me working my ass off, me going to the gym consistently and doing a bunch of really good habits like this every single day with intensity and with consistency, they started to see that I was actually serious about this and started to trust me more and more on my path that I was going down. I also come from a big family myself, and so when I would go to family gatherings and talk with other cousins and other relatives, I would constantly get questions about like, when are you going to get a real job? And the irony is that family gatherings almost started to become like interrogations where people were just asking me questions about what I was doing, why I was doing this, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I just want to talk to you guys. I just want to have a good time and not be interrogated. It almost felt like when I was talking to some of these people that I had to come up with and almost like prove reasons to these people of why I was going down the path that I was going down, because they were just in such disbelief and they didn't see the same vision that I did. And the cold underlying reality, and thankfully this has started to get a lot better with my immediate family, is that success created distance instead of actually bringing us closer together. Like I said earlier, now things are thankfully a lot better, but there were certain times for sure where it wasn't going the best. Now, the third thing that I wanted to talk about is a good old thing called mental health. And I'm not talking about mental health like the gay version where it's like, oh, I feel bad. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. Not really as much. For me, it was more getting imposter syndrome. So you got to consider the optics of what was actually happening at the time. I was 19 years old, and after I started making money online, again, I dropped out of college. I had the whole thing going on with my parents. I transitioned into becoming a closer, doing high ticket sales, and eventually adding on back appointment setting and becoming a full cycle sales rep and a hybrid, as other people call it. But for this offer that I was selling for, we were running a B2B business where we were helping other coaches and consultants and other experts run Instagram ads. And so me being the full cycle sales rep, I was getting on Zoom meetings actively selling to 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds. And I was also selling to experts inside of that niche. And so a lot of these people had A-type personalities where they had high egos about themselves. And so in the beginning, I really struggled with a good old thing called imposter syndrome, where I started to doubt why I was even doing it and if I was even qualified enough to sell to people over the phone. I think at first this was all self-inflicted, but then I even got on a couple calls where people would genuinely just straight up ask me, like, why should I listen to you? You're 19 years old. I'm 50 years old. I have way more life experience. And so as a byproduct of this, I actually had to do a lot of rewiring in my brain about why I actually was qualified to sell to people in their mid 40s and in their 50s. At the end of the day, I could have been 19 years old or 60 years old. I was still selling the same solution and the same product. And so age at the end of the day, when you're selling something, it matters a little bit for developing trust, but it doesn't matter in terms of what you're actually selling for the solution because it's going to be the same whatever age you're at. Additionally, too, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome outside of just taking these sales calls, really just in terms of the income that I was making. Because you got to realize once you start making really good money for yourself and making more money than you've ever had in your life, the number one thing that you're worried about is keeping it. So when I started finding a good amount of success, I was in constant fear that one day it could just all disappear. And so as a byproduct of this actually drove me to work harder and create even less work-life balance just because I wanted to make sure that this would never ever disappear. And so with that, there was a ton of anxiety about literally just maintaining the income that I was making. Obviously, I wanted to grow month over month, but what was even more scary is the idea of actually regressing and going back down and having to go back to college and having to go back to pursuing an education and go back to the environment that I hated in the first place. Honestly, with a lot of the things that was happening in regards to the mental tricks and the family stuff and the isolation, I started questioning if it was all even worth it. The reason I'm creating this video is not to deter you from trying to make money online, because I still think that if you genuinely want to live the life that you see on social media where you're making 10K, 20K, 30K per month where you have financial, time, and location freedom, you should absolutely pursue it. And knowing what I know now after going through all of the BS, I would still do it again if I had to choose. At the end of the day though, it's really important that you're armed with this information before you actually start trying to make money online, because genuinely, there are some people that this stuff is not meant for. You have to have a strong enough reason in your heart and in your soul of why you actually want to live this life and why you actually want to get the goals and do the things that you want to do. Because if you don't have this, the second you run into some of these small problems, you're just going to give in like most people would. If you want to pursue this path, and I still think you should, it's very important that you understand what you're signing up for. Almost no guru on the internet talks about this because they're literally just obsessed with the idea of selling you their course or their coaching program and just getting as many students to sign up for that. So they sell you some false dream or some false promise, false facade about how easy it is to make money online, and that you're going to make 10K per month in your first 30 days and it's going to require no work. I'm sure you've seen videos on the internet. If you haven't already, literally just look up the easiest way to make money online and you'll see all these stupid, idiotic videos on the internet. I'll be 100% transparent with you. I do have a one-on-one coaching program, but my intention with creating this video is not to get people to sign up for that. If that was the case, why would I be saying all the negative things about making money online? My goal with creating a video like this is to literally dispel the truth in the making money online space and to set the right expectations in people. Because I genuinely believe that making money online is one of the best things that you can ever do. I think it just gets a bad rap because a lot of people have the wrong expectations about it. They think it's going to be super, super easy and there's going to be no problems and they're going to get rich quick and make a ton of money. And so they try it, they fail, and then they're left in a worse state than they were before they tried. You can make money online and you can change your life, but it's really important that you understand that this is the truth and this is the stuff that you're going to have to deal with as you start finding success. If you're not aware of these things before you enter, you are just going to get fucked. If you are aware of these things before you enter, there's a much higher likelihood that you actually succeed with making money online. If you're somebody that wants one-on-one help in getting started with making money online so that you can make 5 to 10K per month in high ticket sales, you can go over to my Instagram and you can shoot me a DM and I'm happy to explain a little bit more about how I can help you. This video is more so covering more of the personal details around my story. If you want some tactical trainings on what you should be doing step by step, just watch other videos on my channel. But hopefully you guys enjoyed and you guys take care and have a fantastic rest of your day, okay? Peace.